It's obviously very complex, and there's a huge amount of confusion surrounding the ability to diagnose disability before 12 weeks. Prior to the government suggesting that, or recommending or indicating that in legislation there will be a 72-hour pause period, it was theoretically possible to make these diagnoses before 12 weeks. With that extra 3-day waiting period, that possibility is gone. Now, I can explain to you how, if you like, the whole system works. All right, so a woman turns up. Now, all of the maternity hospitals in Ireland recommend or only offer the screening test from 10 weeks, not from 9 weeks, from 10 weeks. You can get it done privately for 9 weeks. You can only get the test done privately anyway. It's not available on the health service. The test itself costs around about €400 or €450. So that's the first thing. Supposing a woman turns up at 10 weeks, or let's say she turns up at 9 weeks, and she wants the screening test. The doctor then explains to her what the implications of the screening test are, that it's not a diagnostic test. The test will give one of 3 answers. It's either low risk, high risk, or the test needs to be repeated because there isn't enough of the free fetal DNA in the mother's blood in order to analyse it appropriately. And the test is sent to California, where the laboratory will analyse it. When the result comes back, supposing it says high risk. Now, if the woman is in her 40s, what that means is that there's a 90% chance, not a 99.9% chance, a 90% chance that the baby has the disability that they're looking for. If she's much younger, the chance is 50-50, not 99%. The test is 99% accurate in giving a low risk or a high risk result, but the mother's age comes into it. This is where it gets kind of confusing, where people are simplifying the matter and misinterpreting it. So she gets a high risk result. Now, supposing she is in her 40s, let's take it, so there's a 90% chance that the baby has a disability that she's concerned about. Most women want this test in order to get reassurance. If they are concerned, they may want to know so that they can prepare themselves for afterwards when the baby's born. Women in those circumstances do not go on and have a diagnostic test, but they are prepared for the chance that the baby may have a problem when it's born, and therefore it's not a great surprise, any shock to them. And that's very good. That's the way it should be. For those couples who decide, no, we think we will go and have a termination of pregnancy, they need to have a diagnostic test done. That costs another between 250 and 500 euros. Now, the diagnostic test consists of taking a sample of tissue from the developing afterbirth, the placenta, through a needle. That test, if it is done in the standard way, takes another 2 weeks to get back, and that costs 250 euros. If they want the fast-track test, that takes 3 working days minimum. That costs 500 euros. So supposing they do the fast-track test, they're now 11 weeks and about 4 days, and they get the result back. They then decide, yes, we want to have a termination in Ireland. They then have to wait 3 days. They're now 12 weeks. That's with a woman who presents exactly on 9 weeks, but the Irish hospitals only offer the test from 10 weeks. The reason for that is, as the pregnancy advances, there's more of the fetal DNA in the maternal blood, and therefore the test is more likely to give you a result. But importantly, the screening test is not a diagnosis. What it tells you is there's a high risk or there's a low risk. And the risk after that is dependent on the mother's age. So it's not as simple as it seems. There's a lot of complicating factors involved. And the test may come back and say, look, we don't have enough fetal DNA. We need to repeat the test. And you're into another 2-week wait. Now, the reason why countries abroad, other countries, aren't so fussed about the whole thing of getting it done really fast, early as possible, is because they don't have legislation which restricts termination of pregnancy on the grounds of disability, as Ireland will have if the 8th is removed from the Constitution.